So welcome to episode 131 of the Campus Comics Cast. Now I'm going to start this episode by saying, who's got two thumbs, is on a podcast, and is on the backside of 100-degree temperature? This guy. So there's no telling what's going to come out of my mouth, including coughing. But anyway, before I start hallucinating and forget who I am, I'm Scott Reed, and I'm joined on this episode by
Mike Atchison,
and Chad Schubert, temperature free.
And it's a good thing we're isolated. And of course, this is the official podcast of Muddy Monster Comics, located at 1422 Walnut Street in Murfreesboro, Illinois. And in case you missed it and didn't know this, Mike No let a couple of numbskulls run the shop last week while he went to a model convention in Louisville, Kentucky. So I'll be numbskull number one. Shad, you can be numbskull number two.
That's right.
So Shad, how was numbskull number two's day at the shop?
It was good. It was quiet for the most part. Had a couple of busy little spots, and it was my first time running the shop. I hadn't done it before, but it was pretty good.
Yeah, I'd only worked a complete day at the shop. Like the very first day he moved to Murphy, whenever he was opening up, just to kind of help him point people in the right direction. So right. I had a couple people I knew come in, so it was nice catching up with a few people. Tried to convince somebody from the Chester area to make an appearance, but he could not be convinced that it was worth his drive. That whole 20 minutes.
He was already up there the day before.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
It's not entirely true, audience.
He had something called work that was in the way of him coming to the shop that day. So
yeah, I had a certain influence from Scott to, well, you can do those Zooms remotely from here at the store. Oh man, yeah, I could.
You could
put on a different background and
just blur the background is all you got to do. Put that back. You can just zoom in and have your 15-20 minute meeting, and then go help me sort dollar comic books the rest of the time. That's what I did a good portion of my day, was put some of the dollar comics close to where they're actually supposed to go. Because I've been pricing stuff and bringing it in, I've just been like setting the boxes by the dollar books.
Oh yeah.
So like all these 10, 12 long boxes of dollar books that I brought back in are now actually roughly in their spots where they're supposed to be now. So that'll help people going through the dollar books finding them, and they're off the floor and kind of out of the way. So
right.
At least there's that.
Yeah.
So
I worked on going through the previews catalog. That's what I did.
Oh, okay. So making efficient use of your time, unlike me, who was, digging through comics. All right. Well, even though this is a previews episode, before we jump into previews, the Sandman official release announcement trailer came out. Was it yesterday? I think. And we just wanted to give our initial thoughts on the Sandman trailer. And dummy me, I heard that there was a new Sandman trailer out, so I went and searched for Sandman trailer and watched it. I thought, oh, well, that's pretty good. Doesn't tell us a whole lot. Looks like the very beginning of the first issue with them capturing Dream, and it's like, that's not the right. Chad told you that's not the right trailer. It's not long enough. It's minute 40, and the one I watched was only like a minute 6. So I was like, oh, so then I actually had to watch the correct trailer. So there's a teaser trailer and then the date announcement trailer. So if you haven't seen the date announcement trailer, it's about a minute 40. So Shad, what are your initial thoughts of this trailer?
There's something I'm really excited about. It comes out August 5th, the day after my birthday. So it's like I was like, it's a nice birthday present for me. I'm digging it. The more I watch it, the more I'm into it. I'm still not. I don't know this. Tom Sturges is the name of the guy playing Morpheus, and I'm still not convinced he's the guy. And this doesn't give me any more of it one way or the other. But I'm hoping he will be. I like his voice, and it sounds good. I've been listening to the audiobook adaptations of it on Audible, and
so you're spoiled by James McAvoy.
Yes, absolutely. Okay. His voice, he's perfect. Like he does it in a way that's like that's Dream's voice, and then you hear this guy and you're like, okay, it's not bad. But I like the introduction of Lucian. We see Corinthian, we see Death, we see quite a few Joanna Constantine, we see quite a few people kind of introduced into this, and I think we got a couple more character posters when they released this trailer yesterday as well. I think one of Corinthian and one of Joanna Constantine, actually. But yeah, not a lot. It was kind of a more of here's the cast introduced and like more kind of seeing people, and the sets look great. It looks nice. So I'm hoping for good things.
Mike, what about you? Anything jump out at you in the trailer?
Well, like you guys, I hadn't had a chance to really, I didn't even know about it until right before we started recording, but it visually, I think is, it sticks to the visual that I have in my brain of the book. I wasn't spoiled by James McAvoy's voice. So this guy seems okay to me. I'm going to have to, I'll admit I've only read the first 2 trades of that series, so I'm going to probably go ahead and forge ahead. I've got the first 5 or 6 at home, so I'm not sure how long this series, how much time it covers. I am interested to see how much, if at all, that it crosses over into the DC proper universe. Yeah. Because that would be interesting and a lot of fun, actually, as long as they didn't overdo it. But because the series did. So
yes. Surprisingly, a lot crossed over into the DC.
Yes.
Universe. Whenever I started reading that series, I was surprised how much there were other DC characters in the stories, like especially like Martian Manhunter, and I was just like, it was just crazy.
Yeah, I remember being surprised as well, and it did it in a way that it wasn't like trying to jump the shark or anything. With the series, it was well done. So that's my initial impressions. I'll probably watch it half a dozen more times before I go to bed now. So,
so I mean,
but it looks like
you're hooked. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like it's got a good production value. I mean, it's not cheaply. It doesn't look cheap.
Yeah, no, I think the production values look incredible initially. I think the guy they've cast, and I've already forgotten what his name was, Tom Sturridge. I think he looks great as Dream. And I like whenever I watched the teaser initially where he doesn't talk any at all. It's just I thought, man, okay, this could be good, but I gotta hear him talk before if I can accept that as Dream's voice. And I think the voice works very well. And in fact, I almost think I prefer it over James McAvoy's voice.
Ooh.
So I know that's big. So
his hair is bothering me because it's not like the big kind of 80s like gothic kind of hair.
That last silhouette it's like that's the only time I've seen it do that was in that last frame where it showed just a silhouette.
There's like bending down like to Matthew. Yeah.
So, but I mean that's something that they can adjust, and that's just kind of just going from the
they're bringing it more modern.
Yeah, late 80s, early 90s up to something a little bit more current. I'm gonna guess they're gonna steer clear of the DC universe. I really felt like Vertical ultimately was kind of its own little thing, So I can't imagine they're gonna sneak Martian Manhunter into one of these episodes, and I'm gonna bet they probably don't have the rights to. Even if they wanted to, because with this being on Netflix and not on HBO Max. But yeah, so anyway, so here's the big question. Are you now looking more forward to it, less forward to it, or the same? So Shad?
I'm going to say same.
Same. Okay. Were you looking forward to it a lot previously?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I was more looking forward to it before, like, I was like, oh, it's gonna happen, because this is like right in my wheelhouse of what the Sandman is my be all end all, and so I was like, all right, this is gonna happen. The first trailer was like, okay, I'm at a 7 or whatever out of 10, of excitement, and this maybe raises the bar just a little bit, but probably still at a 7. I'm cautiously optimistic.
Mike, what about you?
I can't say that I had been looking forward to it just because it had such a nebulous release date, and I just didn't even really commit to looking forward to it. Now that I've seen it, though, I'm very much looking forward to it. So it was a non-issue for me, and now it's a big issue for me.
Well, I'm definitely more looking forward to it now, seeing the production value that it's going to apparently have. So yeah, I think it's going to be a winner. So I'm putting that on my calendar. So, all right. So well, hey, Sandman is in the DC universe. So why don't we jump over to the DC catalog and go ahead and get into the previews portion of the episode, and we can start right here on page 1. And it's not that we need to keep mentioning Batman every single month, but I have to now that Buddy Monster Comics has switched over to being a catalog subscription service. You need to remember to put down all the books you're picking up monthly, so that way you can be sure you get those in on your orders. So Batman is one of the books I'm buying. Chip Zdarsky is still listed as a writer on this. We haven't seen his first book yet, though, have we?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, I think maybe he
this
starts
is
with
just the
125.
second issue.
Yeah, just the second issue. So, and
are you gonna get the swimsuit variant? Though?
I was getting ready to say,
you stole that one from me, Shad.
We were all going the same place because I was getting ready to say the swimsuit variant covers are a little silly this month. Is all I was going to say about it. So
the cowl and trunks, and that's it. It almost looks like what's the show where they use the little action figures to do stuff, and it's oh gosh, why can't I think of this?
Robot Chicken. There you go. Yeah.
Oh yeah, right.
It looks almost like something they would do with Batman and Robot Chicken.
What is the variant cover right next to the swimsuit variant? What is that supposed to be mimicking? It almost looks like a Marvel Comics motif or trade dress.
I am not for sure.
Something about it, the way it's designed, that at least the trade dress.
It's probably a McFarlane homage would be my guess.
Okay.
But just from the page layout, but I do not know for sure.
Okay.
All right. So my next thing's page 4.
I'm going to say something about page 2 unless Shad wants to.
No, how about it?
Okay, so, again, sticking with we are sort of a unofficial Tom King fan club here, or at least a loyal set of reviewers. But Tom King has, I believe, a series, or at least he's writing his first issue. I'm not sure if he's writing all of these issues, but it's a series of 64-page prestige format specials that highlight one of Batman's villains. This one is Batman One Bad Day, the Riddler. So they're also in subsequent issues they're going to have Two-Face, the Penguin, Mr. Freeze, Catwoman, Bane, Clayface, and Ra's al Ghul. So I'm not sure again if they're all going to be by Tom King and Mitch Gerads, but I think they might be. In that case, I'm going to pick these up. Gerard is I just really think out of all the artists that go with Tom King, he seems to go the best in my books.
I'm going to guess you're going to have different creative team on each one just because they have the sentence at the end, spearheaded by today's top talent.
Oh, there you go.
And I would say that they're probably using talent in the plural there.
Sure.
Not saying that King and Gerards are the
today's top talent.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Although they're close.
They are.
What did Gerards do? Was he on Strange Adventures?
Adam Strange Adventures. Yeah, he did half of it along with.
That's right. It looked familiar. That's what I was thinking.
Doc Shaner.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, so go ahead to number 4.
Yeah. So Batman Dear Detective 1. We know that Lee Bermejo is a good artist. The question is, can he write?
Can he piece together his covers and make a story out of it, which is the weirdest concept?
Yeah, and that is basically what you have here. Is you have what appears to be like 50-ish, cover pieces, cover art, and maybe a little word balloon or a word square attached to each page that's going to try to tell a story. The companies have done stuff like this in the past, and for me, generally, it kind of falls a little flat.
Yeah.
But who knows? I mean, I guess the worst case scenario is to be good to look at.
Yeah, I was gonna say, at worst case scenario, it's a cover book. You can kind of see a collection of covers with some words.
And you could pick less talented artists than Lee Bermejo.
Right.
That is
if
true.
You're looking at just art.
This is the first thing he's done, from what I can tell, with DC since Batman Damned came out.
Oh,
and
okay.
so this is his.
Oh,
I guess return to that after. I don't know if he got put into jail because of it too.
All right, my next thing's on page 8.
All right.
All right, so page 8, we've got a Sword of Azrael. I know there's I don't know, I wouldn't call it a cult following for Azrael, but there's a loyal following for Azrael in amongst DC Comics fans. So you're getting a 6-issue series. Oh, and I just noticed that Joe Quesada, who just retired from Marvel, is doing one of the variant covers. So there you have it. And then if you want to catch up on Azrael on the next page, page 9, they have Dark Night of the Soul, which is reprinting some of Azrael's other stories. Basically, okay, so it's Urban Legends 8, 9, and 10 that lead into the first issue. So I guess it gives you a little backstory about where Azrael's at as that series starts.
I was wondering when they were going to start reprinting things out of that Batman Urban Legends and be like, well, they run together and make an issue here, so we can just reprint it and just call it something different.
Yeah.
Yep.
But we can't just call it a reprint story because then people won't buy it.
That's right.
This wasn't the first Azrael in DC. The first one was
it's back in Night Quest. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Teen Titans Azrael preceded or predated this Azrael.
Jean-Paul Valley.
Jean-Paul Valley, yeah. And my heart's still with the Teen Titans version, along with that great Jose Luis Garcia art, or Garcia Lopez art. This Azrael came sort of in I was checked out from comics at that time. So
you mean you weren't buying into Night Quest?
No, I'm afraid not. I was. This was my big lull, my big gap, my taking time off. We were on a break from comics.
Here's what's crazy is on the wiki page, the Azrael, a mysterious character with the same alias who is an ally of the Teen Titans, doesn't even have a wiki page.
I know. That tells you something.
So I can't even find any information about him. So I'm looking for like images so I can even see what this guy looks like, and I can't even find anything. So
I was talking to Philip Tan at C2E2, and we were talking about Azrael, and I asked him if he knew about the first one, and he didn't even know about the Teen Titans one.
Oh, the winged one with the
yeah.
Oh yeah, that one's terrible.
Oh, you don't even know enough about it. You didn't even read those issues. I'm willing to bet.
I probably have read one or two of them, and I can the costume's just awful. He's a Hawkman wannabe.
There are worse things. This is a Batman wannabe.
Well, that's true.
With a flaming sword. He is so 90s it just oozes out of him. People that have a sword that don't actually use it for stabbing, I just don't get it.
Yeah. What's the point?
What's the point?
All right, page 10, we got Deceased, War of the Undead Gods, #1. So Deceased is back. I actually read the first Deceased story. I don't know, it was probably about a year or so ago. It actually wasn't that bad. I kind of thought it would be, pretty mind-numbing, but it was actually pretty good. I like the whole idea of the anti-life being what caused the whole zombie thing in the DC universe. So now they're taking it to the new gods. We've got Darkseid and Highfather, and I guess they've all been affected by the, what is called the DC zombies. So anyway, it's going to be a 8-issue series from DC.
The final chapter.
Yes, until the next one.
Yeah, I'll believe that when I see it. That's what I was going to say. The only thing that saves this is it's Tom Taylor writing. I like you. I kind of like the first. They had 2 or 3 miniseries under the headline of Deceased. So I would probably buy this just because Tom Taylor pretty much takes any property and makes it somewhat enjoyable. I got 12.
All right, I'm actually done with DC, so you guys just go.
All right.
Do you have anything, Shad?
No, go ahead. You're good.
12 is, we haven't even really, if you have, you've just barely read Dark Crisis 1, and I haven't even read it yet. I just read the Justice League 75 and the prelude to Dark Crisis and all that. This, based on what I've read so far, it seems to be Josh Williamson taking his fanboy roots and toying with the idea of reverting the DC, let's just say, mess of continuity from multiple crises and reboots over the last 30, 40 years, and toying with the idea of reverting back to the original multiverse. So, and with your basically antagonist being Pariah, which that doesn't set well with a lot of people, because Pariah was sort of a neutral character in the original Crisis. He was basically a guy that he was one of the first Earths or universes to die at the hand of the Anti-Monitor, and he was cursed to, for whatever reason, maybe because he was looking through his scientific instruments to see all this, but he was cursed to be transported to all the different universes right before they were destroyed. So he was kind of crazy in that way, but he was a neutral character. Now he's an outright bad guy, if not even really a sympathetic one. So I'm intrigued enough now. The writing so far is like, okay, I can live with it, but it's not stellar. The art's great, but I am intrigued with the concept. We'll see where it goes. So I'll probably pick up every issue. Well, I know I'll pick up every issue, but also every tie-in as well.
Yeah, and it's weird because Pariah didn't really have any powers per se in the initially, you know. I think the only thing he could maybe do was like he was able to pull like a couple of people out of their dying universe into another one. Like
right.
I can't remember what her name was that he saved. Like in
Lady Quark.
Lady Quark, thank you. Because like didn't he save her whenever her universe was dying?
Pretty sure, yeah. Yeah, he was basically, if you seen him, you knew he was like the Grim Reaper. If you seen him, the end was near, and he usually couldn't do anything about it, but a couple times he did.
Yeah.
So he was a good character in that. So I'm not a big fan of him being the bad guy, but maybe it'll be something redeemable in the future.
I agree with you. I feel like he's kind of like supposed to be a stand-in for the reader, like the reader's involvement in the story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're bemoaning the loss of what was, and and Harbinger was the one that was like promoting what was to be post-crisis. And Shad's looking at us like, geez, you guys are old.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to ask a question that I know probably isn't. I know the answer to. When you said the original multiverse, is that what Grant Morrison was doing with his Multiversity 52 Earths? Is that anywhere close to the original, or is that still pretty far out?
The difference, Grant Morrison with the 52 or Multiversity was originally there were, as the name would imply, an infinite number of Earths. We only knew about a handful of them.
Okay.
Earth 1, Earth Prime, Earth 2, Earth 3, Earth S, Earth X, whatever. Then when Crisis on Infinite Earths happened, it rolled everything into one universe. There was no multiverse. It was just everybody. So they had to retrofit all of the histories, which didn't work in all the characters' favor, like Hawkman and Power Girl and people like that. Then you had Infinite Crisis brought back, I think, is where those 52 definitive Earths were brought back, and then Grant Morrison in Final Crisis and Multiversity fleshed that out even more. I'm just kind of talking,
and he was just trying to kind of give it all like a structure, like he was trying to make this kind of fluid thing and give it like, no, there's 52 or whatever.
But it was also kind of put out, I mean, they put out a guidebook and they were like, okay, this is what's on each. And it was almost like force feeding all that. And I always like the more natural way of just doing it through storytelling, where you learn about a different Earth and what they're all about instead of having an encyclopedia tell you. But either way, it's fine. But this is like, now we're back to, I mean, it's almost like full circle. And the way they're talking about it, it's like, well, to me, it's like Josh Williamson's dream. They would like to see it go back to the original structure. Yeah.
He's throwing it out there and hoping that they run with it.
Who knows? We'll see. They can't mess it up anymore. I know that.
On 15, this is just to mention because it's dumb. They have the kind of all ages special DC Saved by the Bell Reeve, which is just so corny. Saved by the Bell kind of reference because we're back to school, I guess. So
so good you're gonna get it. So corny you're gonna get it.
Yes. And then 18 is they're announcing the Road to Harley Quinn's 30th anniversary, which it seems like they're going to try really hard to get to 30 issues, to issue 30 by the end of the year. It's going to be a weekly book. They're starting at, 18? Yeah, 18, and they're going to rush through the rest of it by the end of the year. So puts them probably, I think, about November if they'd make it a weekly, which doesn't seem very earned.
No.
Very similar to something else that's not going to seem very earned.
It's going to be more earned than what they're doing later on, that's for sure.
Yeah.
The big question for me is if Mike Atchison is going to get that homage variant cover to issue 19.
Oh.
He doesn't even know what I'm talking about.
I'm looking at it right now. I just, oh man, I'm not seeing the connection to anything.
The third variant, where you have Harley Quinn jumping out of the.
I thought you didn't say the variant. I thought you were just talking about issue. Okay. Oh, absolutely. I didn't see that. Yeah, breaking through the hoop, just like Robin did. Oh, shoot. I've got to add that to my order now.
Well, hopefully it's not like a 1 in 50 or 1 in 100 or something like that. So.
Right.
Oh God, yeah. Hope not. Back one page is Detective Comics 27 facsimile edition. I've got Detective Comics first issue, our famous first issue in Treasury or tabloid size. I have it maybe in a silver or Millennium edition or something like that, but I don't have the full facsimile edition, and that's $6.99, and I think it'll include all of the backup stories that go along with that first story of Batman. So I'm definitely going to get that.
And I just noticed that they say it's written by Bill Finger, Gardner Fox, Jerry Siegel, and others. Bob Kane is not even listed as a writer.
Oh, man.
He's only listed as artist on that.
Interesting.
Cover by Bob Kane, but not a writing credit there, which is unusual.
That's good observation.
Probably more truthful, but
yeah. Yeah.
Then on page 20, for anybody that pays attention to the Harley Quinn animated series, there's another spin-off one-shot called The Real Sidekicks of New Gotham. And I didn't read the shoot, eat, kill, whatever the last one was, but if you like the animated series, it's just a spin-off of that.
If they really were trying to get Harley to issue 30, they should have slapped an issue number on that annual instead of making it an annual.
Uh-huh.
I'm done in DC, so.
I wanted to mention Olympus Rebirth by Becky Cloonan.
Yeah.
Art by Caitlin Yarsky. The cover looks great. It's by someone I don't recognize, Julian Totino Tedesco. Looks almost sort of like oh my goodness, I can't think of the artist now, but it has that basically Olympic or Olympus or the gods of Olympus feel to it, and there's a rich history in both DC and Marvel comics of those gods of Olympus. So I always liked when they dipped their toes into these stories. They're almost like the original superheroes. So Cloonan's a really good artist or good writer. So I'm going to be picking this up.
It's
just a one shot.
It's just a one shot. I was drawn to it too. I'm curious how much they were going to play with the gods, or if it was going to be more about. It seems like it's kind of focusing on Hippolyta kind of ascending to be a god. And I was like, I wish that they would leave that out of there and just hang out with the gods for a bit.
Yeah. I think it's Olivia Coipel who this reminds me of. Am I pronouncing that right? The French artist, Coipel?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I've always heard. Oh, I can't even say it now that you're putting me on the spot. Olivier Coipel.
Okay, Coipel.
But yeah. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I have no idea. You just say it with authority, and then nobody questions.
That's right.
You know, you don't hem-haw around it. You just say it's Olivier Coipel. What are you talking about? Go on.
I'm done in DC.
I could go on and on, but I'm going to.
Well, keep going.
I'm going on with New Champion of Shazam on page 23. This is highlights Mary Marvel. It's art and cover by Doc Shaner, written by Josie Campbell. I really like that variant cover by, I guess that's Joshua Middleton.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, she's an interesting character in the Marvel history. By Marvel, I mean the Shazam history.
Captain Marvel,
yeah, / Shazam. And I'm glad to see her get her own little miniseries. It's 4 issues. So going on to, where's that at on page 28? This is something I meant to pick up in individual issues, but now I've missed them, so I'm going to go ahead and get the trade. It's Green Lantern Alliance. It features Green Lantern Tai Pham. I don't know if he's from Vietnam or somewhere in Southeast Asia by his name, and a version of the Flash, and I think she might be the Chinese Flash. So.
Well, guess what, Mike? You didn't miss this because this is a re-solicit because this was originally canceled and now they're coming out with it again.
Oh,
so you don't have to punish yourself for having missed it because you didn't.
Okay, you make me sound like what's his name on Harry Potter, the little house elf.
Dobby.
Start banging my head against the wall for missing an issue. Yeah. Bad Mike.
I haven't watched those, so I don't get the reference.
Oh my gosh. That's all I got.
All right.
Everything for DC? All right, flip through real fast, make sure there's nothing. Yeah, I don't see anything else. So, all right, on to Marvel.
Marvel.
All right, so Axe Judgment, and I'm probably just mentioning it again. I haven't read any of them yet, but Axe Judgment Day 3 and 4 are solicited this month. Lots of tie-ins with Axe Judgment Day. I think Marvel keeps stretching for these acronyms to use. So AXE, Avengers, X-Men, Eternals. Haven't read the first issue yet to know if it's any good, but we'll hope that it is. Not planning on picking up any of the tie-ins myself. But it's Kieran Gillen. He's doing a good job writing the Eternals proper title. So
yeah, I wrote it down to pick up. I don't know what's inspired me to, but I'm picking these up. Maybe it's just the crossover, that cool feel of these major teams getting together for one particular reason or another.
Well, they'll fight each other for a while, and then they'll all come to terms at the end.
Right.
Page 12, Fortnite, X-Marvel, Zero War 3 and 4. I'm just mentioning this to remind myself to pick up the 3rd and 4th issue, and I'm really not buying them to read. I'm buying them to sell later because people will want those Fortnite codes.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, that's all I'm doing with those books. All right, Shad. I'll let you talk about the nonsense first on page 14.
I don't know how the math works.
It doesn't.
I can tell you that even if they did, I was like, I'm just going to crunch numbers. Spider-Man's been around for 60 years. There's Amazing Fantasy 1000. If they kept up Amazing Fantasy for a week or for a month every year for the last 60 years, it's only 720 issues. So this really isn't earned at all, but it's Amazing Fantasy 1000. It's got Neil Gaiman in it. What else could you want?
There you go. Yeah, I don't get this. I mean, so I think the original Amazing Fantasy series was 15 issues, and then they had like a 16th issue.
Okay.
Just randomly later. And then I think they had another Amazing Fantasy series that introduced Aranya for like a few issues.
Okay.
And then they had that recent Amazing Fantasy limited series where they had
yes.
Everybody going, but I mean, we're at like 20 something issues. So yeah, we're definitely jumping the shark on going to 1000. This ranks up there with Deadpool 1000.
I was like, it's not unprecedented, I guess. So
No.
We've seen this kind of jump before, but it still doesn't make it right.
No, it's just wrong. So yeah.
Yeah, I had the same notes. I actually even pulled up a little. I mean, I did my own little research on Amazing Fantasies, run, and I mean, isn't it right that issue 15 introducing Spider-Man was the last issue in the 60s?
Yes.
Of Amazing Fantasy, and then
if I remember correctly, they later on did an issue 16.
They did a 16 through 18.
Okay, thank you.
95 and 96.
Okay.
And then they did another Amazing Fantasy where they introduced Aranya, if I remember correctly. It was like just a handful of issues there.
Yeah.
And then they just did the Amazing Fantasy series. Yeah.
Right. So I guess they're counting all of the Amazing Spider-Man issues as well. It's not even if they wanted to be at least somewhat genuine about it, they would say this is how we came to this number.
Yeah.
But they're not even trying to do that.
I don't care.
Because if they started counting all the Spider-Man issues, okay, if you added together all the Amazing Spider-Man, which is at
was that 650 or 850 or something like that?
850, yeah.
Yeah. It was just
and
recent
then all
though.
The Spectacular Spider-Man, now you're way past 1,000. Already just from
yeah,
titles.
Absolutely.
So
not even throwing in the other ones, Ultimates.
Maybe closer to 2,000.
I mean, it borders on false advertising. It really does.
It is false advertising.
It's just, it's if they had a complaint line, it's what I'd probably call about.
But they did this, like the first one that ever did this that I can think of was Deadpool. Deadpool went to like an issue 1000. And it was just for because it's Deadpool, it was that type of nonsense.
Yeah.
So that's what this is.
Man.
It's
just nonsense.
Nonsense. Page 17, 18, and 19. We have Edge of the Spider-Verse issues 1, 2, and 3. And I'm gonna have a hard time ignoring these issues just because the Into the Spider-Verse movie was just so good. And here they have all the Spider-Man variants. And it looks like in each issue, they're going to introduce a new Spider-Man variant. So, cause I think we're getting Spider-Rex in the first one. I think we're getting a new Spider-UK in issue 2 and Night Spider in issue 3, which I guess is a combination of Night Gwen and Gwen Stacy and maybe the other Night Spider from the Far From Home movie. So, my next thing's on 23.
Good.
I did have something earmarked here. It's page 21, Damage Control. It's the first issue of 5. It looks to be sort of a unsung hero team book that features Nightcrawler, Quicksilver, Moon Knight, She-Hulk, Ghost Rider. I'm not sure who the plainclothes guy is supposed to be. Is that
That's your everyman kind of common?
Everyman. Okay.
He's like it's Gus. Gus, the new guy.
Oh, okay. Yes. Okay.
Okay.
I thought it might have been. No, I can't remember his name.
I thought it was Rick Jones or something, but
no.
Okay. But anyway, it kind of reminds me of the Doom Patrol. Just a hodgepodge of characters. And I found that to be somewhat appealing. So I really like Nightcrawler. It's one of my favorite characters, but I'll pick this up just to see if it's. I don't know who this, or I know who Adam Goldberg is. I think, but
he's the writer of the Goldbergs.
Oh, is he? Okay.
Yeah. He is the Goldberg.
Yes.
Oh, he is the. Okay. All right. Anyway, I had it earmarked as worth mentioning. So you're up.
All right, so page 23 again, just so I don't forget to order this. Captain America Sentinel of Liberty number 3. Haven't read the first issue yet. It is out. This is a pretty cool Simon Bianchi variant cover. And then page 25, Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings number 2. First issue has not hit the shelves yet, so don't know what to think about it, but they're leaning into the movie, into the comics, so we'll see. And it looks like they're changing the rings, because you notice here in this image they've got him on his arms.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a big change. So maybe it's a different set of 10 rings. I don't know. Are they going to rename the Mandarin's rings? I'll have to read it and find out.
So you will.
My next thing's on 41.
I'm past that.
Oh, I'm way past it. Like
okay. Well, 41, and I'm only mentioning this because Savage Avengers number 4 has Deathlock, and apparently Deathlock is hunting Conan. Now, and I don't even remember where I read this. This is not something that I have privileged information about, but I have heard or rumors that because Conan the Barbarian is going into the public domain, that basically they're going to kill off Conan in the comics, for Marvel Comics anyway. So this might be tying into a death of Conan or something like that that's going to occur. So I don't know how much truth there is to that, but there you go. Page 49, 5th issue of Punisher. Again, I have the first 3. Haven't read them yet. Shame on me.
That never happens to me. I never get behind.
Never.
And I'm done with Marvel after that. So
okay. And what'd you say you got, like 70 something, Mike?
72.
Okay. Just a couple of things to point out. Alien 1, they're rebooting the Alien series after 12 issues. So
ready? Wow.
Yep. I don't know why. 57 is the Star Wars Mandalorian number 2, and I just want to point out this Kare Andrews cover is just awesome that they've got going on here. It looks very like Drew Struzan movie poster kind of painted style, or the Dark Horse era comics covers.
Dave Dorman.
Yeah, it's awesome. So I'm excited. I'm picking that up already, but love it when a cover catches my eye. And then on 58, just to mention that the Obi-Wan Disney Plus series is out, and if you like that, pick up this Obi-Wan Kenobi series. I wish that I would have picked it up from issue 1 now, because now that I'm watching Obi-Wan Kenobi, I'm like, I want more of this. Of these stories, he's kind of bridging the gap stories and everything. So maybe I'll probably pick that up in trade now that I've got the bug.
I didn't realize Christopher Cantwell was writing that.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably pretty good.
Yeah, he's a good writer.
And then my last thing is on 62 is this Fantastic Four Full Circle Alex Ross book that I have no clue why. I mean, it's in the back, I guess, because it's a collection in a way, but it really should be more featured, I would think, because this looks awesome. Looks like he's maybe redoing a classic Stan Lee, Jack Kirby issue of Fantastic Four, and doing his own take on it. And it says he's writing, but I don't know how much he's writing, or if he's just putting the words that Stan wrote already on there. But I'm digging this book.
Well, I think it's not in the main part of the catalog, because it's actually Abrams Arts that's putting this out instead of Marvel directly.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. My last mention was a quick one. It's just Strange Volume 1. I Belong to Death trade paperback. It's the first 5 issue of the the series that comes out on the heels of the death of Doctor Strange with, I always pronounce it wrong. Is it Clea or Clea?
I've always said Clea, but there's no telling.
Okay, so anyway, it was something I thought I'd pick up in individual issues, but now that it's out in trade, I think I'll grab it that way. It's the first 5 issues, like I said, for $15.99.
Is Clea the one that was in the? Oh, I shouldn't say that. Never mind.
You shouldn't say that yet.
Oh, thank you.
Somebody hasn't watched something yet.
Never mind. I don't know what I'm talking about. I was wrong.
I'll tell you what.
Which is why we can't talk about it.
We will soon.
Yeah, so if you want to know why we're not current on some of the movies and such, there's somebody whose initials are Mike Atchison.
Some delinquent named Mike Atchison.
He's working and stuff.
I blame work, my wife, family, all of those, important things. But
big book.
I do. When I travel, I try to just jam in as much as possible. I mean, to tell you.
All right, page 28. Don't forget to get your previews catalog. In fact, if you are a regular customer at Money Monster, Mike had ordered you an extra copy of previews for you to go through to be sure that you could pull out the items you wanted to order. So if you forgot to do that last month, be sure you do it this month. And he also ordered some of the little customer order forms because it has like all the actual codes on them. And really what he needs more than even the description of the book is the code to make it easier for him to put in the order. So, all right, my first thing's on 36.
All right.
Mine's on 3.
Okay, let's go back to 3.
He wins.
It's going to be a long night. Normally we wouldn't start.
We're in the table of contents.
We're in the table of contents, and I only look at page 3 in that book I just talked about in the Marvel catalog, Damage Control. They managed Diamond to misspell damage to where Damage Control, Damagae. I'm like, what the heck? How do you miss that? But yeah, leave it to me to find that. The grammar, the spelling police. But yeah, I just want to mention that little blooper on their part. Let's see. I've got something not too far. Oh, page 9, the Heritage Auction stuff.
Oh yeah.
I love talking about this. You guys probably hate when I do, but you've got a couple of big record breakers with Captain America #1 topping 3.1 million. It was a 9.4. Then a Fantastic Four 9.2 got a 1.5 million. You go on to Journey into Mystery, and I'm only bringing up ones that people might recognize. Journey into Mystery 83 at 9.4 for a cool 432,000.
And this one makes no sense to me.
This X-Men, Uncanny X-Men?
No, the next column.
Journey.
Go ahead.
Oh, the next column. The Daredevil?
No.
Wait.
The Superman.
Oh, the Mile High Report #1 sells, or it's Mile High Superman #1 sells for $5.3 million. So I'm guessing this is an 8.0. Well, it says it's an 8.0 copy, CGC copy of Superman #1 from the Edgar Church, and in parentheses it says Mile High collection, I guess. So it says it sold for 5.3 million.
And it's like, I mean, the last Action Comics sale was not 5.3 million. That's why I don't know. People are putting way too much stock in this whole pedigree thing, but that's just 5.3 million for Superman #1. Whenever you could have bought an Action Comics one for less than that, just doesn't make any sense to me. So
I don't know. I don't pretend to understand it, and it's so far out of reach. It's only like just watching. It's like watching Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. Looking at that page.
Fool and their money are easily separated.
Yeah. So I'm good until the actual catalog now.
All right. Go ahead. Well, I'm at 36. Does anybody have anything before 36?
Nope. Not me.
Nope. Okay. So we have Love Everlasting, written by, guess who? Tom King. This is apparently a new ongoing series because it doesn't say that it's a mini series, and it basically takes the idea of the 60s romance comics and combines them with a torturous Groundhog Day, where somebody, I guess the idea is your female protagonist gets into a relationship, and apparently when she finally gets the guy, she gets thrown into another romance comic where she has to go through the whole stuff, all the process again and again and again. So, this just seems like a little bit much to me, but they do give us what, 1, 2, 3 pages, 3 pages of art and story to kind of preview it. So,
is it ongoing? It looks like it's ongoing.
It says it's on. I mean, it doesn't say that it's a mini.
Right.
So, and it's a series premiere. So it's not a one shot. So yeah.
Wow. It's a novelty in my mind. I'll pick it up just for that. But I'm not a big fan of that art style. I'm not obviously a big fan of the genre. I mean, but Tom King has a way of spinning things to make them interesting. So I guess we'll see.
All right. Page 40. Anybody want to talk about page 40?
Nope, I'm not. I'm
okay. Well,
50.
then page 40, we have Old Dog #1, written and drawn by Declan Shalvey. And this basically looks like your pretty straightforward beat 'em up spy thriller. So if that is up your alley, check out Old Dog #1.
It kind of looks like me when I look in the mirror after a long night.
And then 44. Maybe want to talk about this one?
You got it.
Okay. Did you have this down, Shad?
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay. 20th Century Men. I'm only mentioning this because it says a Soviet iron hero, a superpowered American president, an insane cyborg soldier, and an Afghan woman hell-bent on building a better life for her people. Didn't they do this someplace? I have this weird random memory of like a comic book that had like a superpowered Teddy Roosevelt. Does anybody know what I'm thinking of, or is that my hallucinations kicking in?
What's the was there a book called Ordinary Gods?
I'm
trying to think based on the cover. It's a Kyle Higgins book, and it was kind of through history. I'm trying to think of who. I don't know if Roosevelt was on there, but there were some people like through history kind of thing. Oh gosh.
I don't know. Anyway, we don't have to dwell on it, but I just was thinking that there was something
like it's been done recently, kind of a thing.
Yeah, and maybe it was like a Kickstarter or something like that.
Oh.
I don't know. So who knows? But yeah, I was looking whenever I saw this. I said, "Huh." I was looking for like where it said Kickstarter or was an online story.
Oh yeah.
And I didn't find any of that, so it's like, okay, I guess it's supposed to be new. So, and it doesn't say it's Teddy Roosevelt. So
no.
It says an American president. So let's see. My next thing is on page 40. Not too far. 40.
I got 46.
Okay, you go ahead on 46. I'm
okay.
gonna try to find this Teddy Roosevelt comic.
All right. So 46 is The Dead Lucky, which is written by Melissa Flores and artist by French Carlo Mangano. I don't know. I messed it up.
Authority.
That's right. French Carlo Mangano. And what's weird is it's also listed in the description that Mattia Icano is one of the artists, or part of the art team, but isn't listed in the artist or cover for it. And Mattia is from Radiant Black, and this book is the newest part of the Radiant Black world, or what they're calling the Massive Verse. So if you are keeping up with the whole Massive Verse, now that we have a name for it, this is a book you'll want to pick up. I like the costume design is really cool. It reminds me of like there was an Image book a couple years ago called Renato Jones that had kind of the same kind of skull motorcycle helmet, or Motorcycle Samurai was a little indie book that had kind of a similar vibe to it. So I'm digging that. It's it's kind of set into a kind of futuristic San Francisco where they've got peacekeeping robots and a little bit of like a Big Brother technology. And it just so happens that our hero is a war veteran with the ability to control electric currents. So I could kind of see that our dead lucky hero is going to have a little bit of a time perfect match for a bunch of robots with an electrical current thing. I'm excited for this. Anytime that the massive verse is extending, it's kind of like, okay, they're really putting some stock into building their own superhero universe in the Image world right now. And so one of these days, hopefully one of them will be a little more bright and sunshiny and a little less I've got a motorcycle helmet on, because that's kind of how they all seem at the moment.
Are they all colored this way, like kind of like the more neon coloring, or is that just this book?
Kind of, yeah. I think like the Rogue Sun is a little bit more just like black and reds. But Radiant Black is kind of got a neon blue, and the Radiant Pink and Radiant Yellow are all just like, it's all Power Rangery a little bit in that realm. And then the Inferno Girl Red is just a bunch of red. That one's not so neon-y either, as the name indicates.
I maybe found what I was thinking of. There's apparently a comic from Aftershock called Rough Riders.
Okay.
Where we have like, it's almost more steampunk type of a story is what it looks like. So yeah, I don't feel like that's what I was thinking of, but I don't know, maybe it is. So, and of course there was actually a Teddy Roosevelt and the Rough Riders comic in the 50s.
Oh,
yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's like let's see if I can find one. Yeah, it was done by Avon Publications. Yeah.
Avon, like the makeup company?
No.
Maybe?
No.
I don't know. Okay.
I mean, I don't think so, but
that'd be awesome.
They could have had a publications. You know, they could have had a publications branch.
Could have, I guess. I just
they printed enough catalogs. They should have.
I've had an Avon comic before. It was a Rocket to the Moon #1. Actually, I might still have that in someplace. So.
I'm almost positive I do too.
Okay,
yeah,
48. Okay, 48. This just sounds so weird to me. I felt like I had to bring it up. The Deadliest Bouquet. So you have a Nazi hunter who is female, who's trained her children in the art of espionage, but apparently in 1998 she gets killed. So her children, I guess, are having to take up the mantle, and basically the premise is they have to solve their mom's murder if they can avoid killing each other in the process. I don't know what to think of that, but it was just silly enough just to catch my attention. So
Speaking of silly
on the
enough,
next.
there you go.
Yeah, you got the next one, Mike.
Yeah, I'm right on page 50. Usually, I mean, I like sticking with creators I am familiar with, or at least really can be sure that they're going to consistently put out a good product. But once in a while, I just see a premise or a concept that's going to win me over, or that seems to win me over. And that's called Golden Rage, issue 1 of a 5-issue series. And it's basically being described as Battle Royale meets the Golden Girls with dashes of Agatha Christie and Logan's Run. That's sort of a testimonial by a writer named Kelly Sue DeConnick. It's basically some castaway old ladies that have, that will make you change your opinion about their worth, in their golden years. And I don't know, it's just kind of like what you said about the last book, Scott. It caught my attention because of it. Just caught my eye because it seemed different. It looked like it had a little bit of violence, but it's interesting to see, an age group and a gender that maybe is overlooked when it comes to action stories. And the art looks pretty good too.
Yeah.
55 is my next thing.
I'm not till 68.
Page 55, we got the Die hardcover. So this collects all 20 issues of Die series. I'm going to say he didn't quite stick the landing on that series, but I still enjoyed it quite a bit. It kind of became this commentary about role-playing games, and kind of forgot that he was telling another story there. So, so my next thing's not till 70.
Okay. On 68 is the final issue of Deadly Class, issue number 56. After about 9 years it's been running, and I've got the full run of it. I've picked it up, I've put it down, I've picked it up, I've put it down. I haven't caught up on like the last 20 issues. So I've got a little bit of reading to do, but we've known the end was coming. They've kind of solicited it that the end was near, and we knew that Remender was going to be wrapping her up soon, and this is the end.
I don't think I've read a single issue of that series.
It's good.
I know I haven't. I've had one experience with Rick Remender, and it wasn't a great one, and it wasn't a great story, so I've never gone back. But maybe I should give it a try. It was Low. Did you ever read
I didn't read Low, no.
Book Low?
Oh. I read the first issue. It just didn't grab me. I mean, it was okay. It just wasn't great.
Yeah. I'm good until like way off into 176, I believe, or 156.
Page 70, Firepower by Kirkman and Somni. Just want to mention that. That I'm up to 129.
I got 92. 92 is out of Boom is the Wind: Thrown in the Sky. Number 1. I was mildly interested in the Wind series, the original one, when it came out, but not enough to be like, I got to read it right now. It was just kind of like, oh, I'll grab that. But the artwork that they've got on these covers, and then the little bit of internals that we've got, is I feel like this artwork has gotten better or darker. It's grabbing me a little bit more than the previous run of Wind, and this is like the second chapter in it. I think Tynion's got like 3 mini-series kind of planned out for this from what I read. So I think I might have to play catch up and check this one out.
Yeah, Boom's really leaning into Power Rangers, aren't they?
Oh, yeah.
Hey, and speaking of Power Rangers, on Saturday, July 23rd, from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., Catherine Sutherland and Nakia Burris, who are apparently pink and or yellow Power Rangers, are going to be at Muddy Monster Comics. So be sure and plan to be there July 23rd. And that's also going to be the same day that the Muddy Monster Comic Con is occurring. And I think they're going to open up the Liberty Theater that day, and they're going to run like movie serials all day long. And if you go to the con or buy something at the shop, they're going to give you like a band or something where you can go in and out and watch the serials all day long if you want. And then you can also buy stuff. They're going to have a concession stand, is my understanding. So it's going to be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got 118.
Okay, you're ahead of me then.
Okay. 118 is Dark Horse, is the return of Star Wars to the Dark Horse world. This is Star Wars Hyperspace Stories number 1, 1 of 12. So it looks like they're doing a little bit of a maxi series there. And this is, it seems as though the IDW license or whatever you want to call it is gone for Star Wars, and Dark Horse is now picking up the kind of YA Star Wars stories. And I'm excited because the little horse in the corner is how I learned to read Star Wars. So this feels right to me. And so this is the new anthology series, and it will be just telling stories throughout. It looks like they're going to focus on the kind of Clone Wars years with the Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Padme on the cover. And they'll be telling multiple kind of stories throughout the universe through these 12 issues. So yeah, I'm excited for this. I enjoyed the Star Wars Adventures books that I did read out of IDW, but it just feels better for it to be Dark Horse. I'm just judgy in that way. And the next page is more Star Wars with Tales from the Rancor Pit, which is coming out as a hardcover 56-pager. And this is going to be like their horror anthology. There's 3 stories in there, very much like their Tales from Vader's Castle that they've done the last couple of years in a couple of different versions under the Adventures banner on IDW. So, Star Wars.
Yeah, I'm 129. That's where I'm at.
Oh, I got 121 also. Is Minor Threat number 1. It's written by Patton Oswalt and Jordan Blum, who were just together doing work on the MODOK series. So I guess maybe while they were working on MODOK, they decided to write a comic book about a bunch of kind of C-level villains who decide to team up to fight the supervillain in town because he's making their life hard and putting all the focus on the bad guys. And so they're like, we got to get rid of this guy. So it's a team up of crappy villains to go against a supervillain. Kind of a funny little idea on there, kind of Suicide Squad-y a little bit. And then on 124 is Survival Street #1, which is a kind of satire book. Very Sesame Street is what they're going for, but if the world was taken over by a bunch of corporations who shut down public broadcasting, where do these kind of puppet creatures go to teach kids about the good parts of the world? So it's kind of a weird, kind of not post-apocalyptic, but kind of a post a dystopian future kind of
right.
vibe of Sesame Street feel to it. And I'm good for a while.
Okay, so 129, we got Mind Management Bootleg #2 of 4. I know we mentioned this series last month, but they have an issue, cover C, which is a little bit more expensive. It's coming polybagged, and it's going to contain a special Mind Management playing card. And this interests me because there's a Mind Management board game, and I don't know if the Mind Management card is for the board game or if it's just a trading card or a playing card or what. So they're going to get the extra $4 out of me because I'm going to pick this up just to be for sure I don't miss out on something for the game.
And they did that on issue 1 also.
Oh, did they really?
Yeah, so you have to go back on that, find it.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure all 4 of these issues are getting a card attached to them, if I remember right.
Missed that, I think, on the first one then.
And you'll open up the bag?
I may get. Well, yeah, because you don't keep comics like this in polybags, because the polybags eat them away eventually. So, yeah, it's always crazy to me. Like I'll still buy collections, and there'll be a polybag Death of Superman. It's just like it's still in the bag. It's like if it were my book that I was going to crumble, I would pull it out. But if I'm going to resell it, as long as the comic will still move inside of the bag, then I'll leave it in the bag and. Yeah, because I don't know, but yeah, eventually that plastic will eat away more quickly that book. So 136, we got 40 Seconds trade paperback. This was originally a Comixology original by Jeremy Haun, written by Jeremy Haun, art by Christopher Mitten. I read all of these. I remember liking them. It's very science fiction. I don't remember. They're basically moving from portal to portal to get someplace. And the 40 seconds has something to do with either like how long the portal's open, or I don't remember exactly what it means. But I remember the series being good. So this is more of a reminder, go read it again on Comixology. But if you don't want to mess with Comixology, you can get it here. 136 pages, $19.99.
Comixology is getting more horrible and horrible by the day. You can't even buy through the app anymore.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, that's more Amazon's fault.
Yeah, well, all of it's Amazon's fault.
Yeah, well, okay, but you know why, don't you?
Because of the Google Play Store's new rules or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the same way on the Apple Store or the Google Play Store, if they sell a comic book through those stores, then the Apple or Google get 30%. So if they make you go to the Amazon site, buy it, and then it shows up, then they don't have to pay Google and Apple at 30%. So yeah, that's why there's a lot of things that are like that, like you can't, and that's where there's a lot of lawsuits going on. Not that I'm getting off topic. There's a lot of lawsuits going on against Google and Apple about the large percentage that they take for whenever you have companies like Amazon who can do their own third-party payment process, and they won't let them do it. But anyway, 157 is my next thing. So whatever you got, 57.
138. On 138, it's just if you've got the Stranger Things bug, because season 4 just dropped its first half.
Oh man,
Chad, are you running up that hill?
I love Stranger Things.
I do too. I stopped watching after I watched the first 2 seasons, and then I moved back to Illinois, and I just never got a chance to pick up 3. But hearing about season 4 makes me want to go back and catch up. So
3's good.
I loved
it. Good time.
Was it okay?
Yeah.
The first season I thought was okay. I just thought seasons 2 and 3 were eh. I really enjoyed the first half of 4.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And I'd like these little, like, so on 138 is our two omnibuses. One is the volume 1 omnibus of the first, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 different miniseries they did. And I read the first 2 miniseries and I liked them. They weren't anything spectacular, but if you like the characters and you like the story, it's a good kind of filling in the gaps kind of thing. And it kind of gives you a little bit more story on a couple of things. You know, one of them follows a different one of Eleven's siblings, if you want to call them siblings, one of the other experiments. And so I just thought that those were cool. And then the other one is the After School Adventures, which are I haven't read either of those 3 because there's 3 different kind of, they came out as young adult trades all in one there, and I haven't caught up on those, but those are some pretty chunky Stranger Things stories if you're into it and haven't gotten to catch all the in the middle parts.
Yeah.
And I'm not till 222.
Okay, I'm at 157.
So that's where I was at, but go ahead.
Oh, well, you go ahead.
Well, it caught my eye because it's a series that we've read and reviewed in the past. It's 007. It's and I believe it was Dynamite that put it out, the last set of stories. But this one's called 007 #1. It's written by Philip Kennedy Johnson, who I have had a lot of enjoyment reading his Action Comics run with with the Warworld saga. And honestly, it's the only 007 I've ever read was that last one we reviewed, and I really did like it. I forgot what the name of it was, but I'm interested in picking this up, and maybe who knows.
Black Box? Was it Black Box?
Black Box sounds right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But this is Philip Kennedy Johnson's a really good writer, and this artist Marco Finnegan. I don't see any interior art, but the covers look fantastic.
And it's nice to have something to talk about for Dynamite.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
That's another good point.
Because you can only have so many cheesecake covers,
Well, I'd like to talk about Deja Thoris, Fairy Tales. No, I'm kidding.
What you really want to talk about is Mad Balls versus Garbage.
Yeah, that's what I just flipped to. Randomly, yeah. I flipped to Mad Balls versus Garbage Pail Kids.
It's amazing how many pages Dynamite is in this catalog.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. And it's just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Well, they do have the Superpowers Project. That's not TNA.
Give them time.
Give it time.
All right, my next one's not till 222.
Same.
What you had 236, didn't you, Shad?
No, 222 is mine too.
Oh, go ahead then.
Well, it's Scott's first.
Okay,
You'll know
I'll
more.
go ahead and take this one. So, under Abrams Comic Arts, we got Dune, the graphic novel, Book 2, Muad'Dib, which I assume is tying in with Chapter 2, the original Dune book. Cover art by Bill Sienkiewicz. Yeah, I've got my copy sitting right over there as well. Okay. Yeah. So I haven't actually. Have you read that yet?
I haven't. No. It's like when I get to trades, like that's gonna be my first trade to pick up is that one, or my first book.
Because I had actually just re-listened to Dune twice last year.
Oh my
in
gosh.
Preparation of the movie. So so I didn't actually sit down and read it, but it is. I assume there's going to be 3 of them. I'm going to get all 3. They're going on my bookshelf. There's no question there. And in case you missed the first one, they do offer again. So you can get book 1 as well as book 2.
So, Scott, you said you listened to Dune on Audible?
Mm-hmm.
I need to listen to it too. I mean, it's I think listening might make it. That first 50 pages was so dense, I had forgotten how hard it was to get through it, but it was well worth it by the end. I mean, I enjoyed it immensely, but I think I would like to experience the story through audio.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The Dune audiobook is pretty good. I've listened to I always forget the order. Dune, Messiah, and then Children of Dune. The audiobooks aren't quite as good. But I'm listening to those right now, so.
Okay.
226 is my next thing.
Oh, that was me too, but go ahead.
Okay, well, which one are you going to talk about?
Parker Girls?
Go ahead.
Just that, if anyone likes Terry Moore, this is his newest book, or series of books maybe. This is, it's a story of Annie Graham. Her lifeless body washes up at Venice Beach, and the nation mourns the loss of a popular actress. So I'm not sure if this is a murder mystery or what it is exactly, but you don't get many examples of a great combination of great writing and artistic talent in one person like you do with Terry Moore. So this especially in black and white.
Yeah, so this is going to be set in the Strangers in Paradise universe. It's all part of the Mooreverse. Okay. And Katchu was a Parker girl. So this is going into some of the backstory of the Parker girls. Now, I don't know if it's post Strangers in Paradise or pre Strangers in Paradise or during or what, but basically it's kind of giving some additional background in what it was to be a Parker girl and what all this was about. So yeah, right. So that's because Katchu used to be one of these Parker girls.
Okay.
So there you go.
At 2:30.
Okay, I'm not till 474, so you guys got it for a while.
All right. On 2:30 from Aftershock is number one for Samurai Doggy, which the word doggy I just don't love, but the story concept is cool. It's kind of very Disney movie. You've got a puppy whose mother dies. You got a dead parent, which is perfect for a Disney kind of adaptation. And the siblings are captured. The dog fights the capture and is left for dead. A robot vulture rescues the dog, and the dog trains to be a samurai and seeks his revenge. So sounds like something that you definitely could see an animated movie for. The art is by Santos, who did Land of the Living Gods, which was also from Aftershock, and I've been reading that. I think that just wrapped up. Issue 5 just came out, and that's been awesome. So the artwork alone would be worth kind of checking this out. And then on 232, right after that, is The Vineyard, number one. And the idea for this one was just kind of neat. Is essentially you've got a successful family-owned vineyard, and the dad who's been running the vineyard all this time passes away, and the family finds out that he's been sacrificing humans every year to get a good crop, and they have to figure out whether they're going to continue to sacrifice people or how they're going to deal with this after he's gone.
Oh, so great. I'm going to earmark that. That just sounds awesome.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that's a pretty cool little
kind
of horror
book. The things people do for good wine.
That's right. I got a 292 is my next.
Well, 268, New Think number 3. I just got New Think number 1. Haven't had a chance to read it yet.
I wasn't excited.
You didn't care for it?
It didn't do much for me. I'm curious to see what you think.
All right, that's a bummer. So
back on 238. I remember talking about this when it came out in single issues. The Lion and the Eagle by Garth Ennis. It's a war story set in 1944 Imperial Japan. So it was in the Asia theater, and you had. It looks like I didn't pick up the single issues, even though I talked about it. So now that it's come out in trade, I think I most definitely will. And one thing Ennis has tends to be really good at is the war stories.
Oh yeah.
And that does me until 307.
Well, on 292, just a monster mention is the Monster Bash magazine. Issue number 47 is coming out. It's got some monsters from the classic Sinbad movies and talks about the animatronics from the werewolf movie. So just as we're in Monster Watch for the Muddy Monster comics.
I didn't see that about the werewolf part of that one. I got a few monster things later in the catalog, but not for a little while.
And I'm not till 331.
Okay, well, I'm 474, so.
Okay, so what I say, 307, right? Yeah. Oh, it's okay. So this is not something for sale. It's just previews every issue for a while now. They've spotlighted a creator. The segment's called A Creator You Should Know. And this one's a spotlight on Jim Aparo. And, for a lot of people around my age, this was the definitive Batman artist. If not for anything other than how prolific he was in the Batman stories. He was sort of you could see tendencies of trying to mimic Neil Adams, which is a good thing. He might not have been quite as slick as Neil, but he, just by pure volume alone, this guy was the Batman artist for me. I'd say most of the stuff that I've seen him do was in Brave and the Bold. I mean, I think he ran like 100 issues in that series from 100 to 200. He also did a lot of Aquaman and Phantom Stranger, Adventure Comics, and he was probably had his most exposure with Death in the Family, with the killing of the second Robin, Jason Todd. So I always like to talk about the creator that they highlight. Okay, 407 is next for me, so I think.
All right. On 331, just a quick mention. There's a Enola Holmes Mycroft's. Good gosh, why can't I read? Mycroft's Dangerous Game graphic novel. They're coming out with an Enola Holmes 2 movie this summer on Netflix. A couple years back was the first Enola Holmes. I really enjoyed the movie, and this book is like the 1.5, kind of bridging the gap between the two movies. So if you enjoyed that, this might be important to pick up for the story, I guess.
I have never heard of this. Sometimes I wonder if you guys even sleep. I mean, I am amazed at the amount of time you have to watch or consume different things. But this looks good. In fact, doesn't she kind of, the character there on the left side of the cover, she resembles 11 from Stranger Things?
She is 11 from Stranger Things.
Who it is.
Whoa! That's crazy.
And Henry Cavill is Sherlock Holmes.
And I was gonna say, the guy on the right, man, he looks like Henry Cavill. The guy that plays Superman.
That's a really good artist, I guess, because you can tell who it is.
Well, yeah. Oh shoot. Okay, I'm one part embarrassed and one part proud of myself.
Yeah.
Shoot, man.
Hey, Mike, welcome to 2020.
No kidding.
352 is my next one. You guys are in the 400s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, on 352 we have Evanescence, Echoes from the Void, #1. And I like Evanescence as a band, but I really like when people take a song and they do an interpretation of it or make a story out of it. And I've read some pretty good versions of that in comic form. So if you like Evanescence, this is definitely something you'd want to pick up. I don't know if I will personally, but I wanted to point it out because more of that as a music person, I really like the adaptations.
What is her real name? What is the lead singer?
Amy Lee.
Yeah, I'd put her right up there with Ann Wilson from Heart as far as a strong rock and roll voice. I mean, crystal clear and strong. So yeah, I can appreciate your thoughts on this book.
Absolutely. Let's see, where am I at next? 361, another monster spotting. It's Monster Fun Back to School special with featuring Frankie Stein along with his friends Draculass, Kid Kong, and many others.
I don't even bother earmarking these because I know one of you guys will.
And then let's see, I've got one more, and it's not in the 400s. So Eternus #1 on page 364 is from creator Andy Serkis, but not written by Andy Serkis. Just for, I guess it's an idea that he and his co-idea creator had. But the idea is pretty cool. The concept is a murder mystery set within the Greek gods. Hercules kind of takes on a very Logan type role where he's kind of a washed up drunk that ends up having to take care of a small child. So it kind of reminds me of Wolverine in the Logan movie. And the small child is a witness to Zeus's murder. And so Hercules has got to protect the kid while they figure out what happened with the murder of Zeus. So I thought the idea was kind of neat.
Page 386, Mike. That's Sherlock Holmes, played by Benedict Cumberbatch, and
he looks just like Doctor Strange.
And Watson is played by Martin Freeman.
I'm glad we're not explicit. We don't have an explicit wording because I'd have a few choice words for you, buddy.
Hey, okay, so I'm gonna jump back to page 384. I wasn't gonna talk about this, but Gun Honey,
yes,
2021's best-selling non-premiere comic.
Interesting.
What?
Adam Hughes?
I don't see how this. I can't imagine this. I guess outselling. They had to be very, very specific, I guess, to get this up there in the numbers.
That would be anything that's not in the front section of the book?
Maybe. Or I took premiere as the first issue came out in 2021.
Oh, okay.
So the best-selling comic of anything that's first issue didn't come out in 2021. I don't get that. So
I don't either.
So
I've never read Gun Honey, but
me neither. So
it seems to belong in Dynamite.
Yeah, but it's on the order form too. So, and it has that same thing. 2021's best-selling non-premiere comic is back.
Well, and
that's the only reason that I even noticed it.
Has Titan always produced hard case? Because I've seen hard case in digital, because that's the imprint it's on. Hard case I've seen digital, but I don't know if I've ever seen a physical copy of a hard case book. So maybe Titan is picking it up as it's a best-selling digital. I don't know if hard case is typically just a digital print all on its own.
Where's hard case at?
Well, hard case is the brand or the imprint that Gun Honey's under.
Oh, okay.
And so I wonder if Titan is picking up hard case, because hard case has done like a really cool adaptation of the Girl with the Dragon tattoo books. Okay. The Girl Who Killed Houdini or something. There's another book that was pretty decent, something about Houdini. But they do like kind of murder mystery pulp kind of stories, but in a comic book form. But they are a little racy, I would say. All of their books have been that I've read.
You can definitely tell the Gun Honey is racy because they have the nude version variant and the cosplay bathtub variant. So
it does seem like they're taking a book out of Dynamite's page.
Yeah, they're definitely leaning into Dynamite. So. I'm still 474. Unless I just flip by something else.
I'm done on the big book.
Oh, on the big book completely? On the first half of the big book?
Yeah, first half. I got one on the other side.
Yeah, I'm at 407, but it's probably my last one. Okay, I got one more. 407, I just have a nod to the Blue Flame trade paperback. I think this is it's a 256 page for $20. This is volume 1, I assume, right?
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't really.
It's they advertised on the previous page 4 new complete series. So I'm assuming that these 4 books that they're showing you here, it's the complete series for each of those 4.
I will tell you it is for Last Book You'll Ever Read and Human Remains, because I've been reading those, and those are the full series for those 2. So it's probably full series.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there you go.
Okay.
How was Last Book You'll Ever Read?
It was way better than I thought it was going to be. I was like issue 1, issue 2, I was a little lukewarm, and then it got better as it went on. And it was there was something that was pulling me into it. I don't know if it was that art I really enjoyed, kind of the way that was. So it's like, man, it was not good enough for me to be excited about every issue, but it was good enough for me to be like, I better pick it up because I want to see what happens.
I only ever bought the first issue just because it was a premiere issue, but I probably will pick it up, maybe read it digital or something like that.
Yeah.
Put it in my want list, wait for it to go on sale.
That's right. Or for it to go on Comixology Unlimited.
Or just go on Comixology Unlimited, yeah.
Even better.
Yeah.
What I have 414. It's always kind of cool when I do this. Actually, I write down these pages 2 weeks in advance, and I kind of forget why I'd written it down. And it's almost like just rediscovering something.
It has to be Blondie Against the Odds.
It is. It is. So like Evanescence, it's probably not the same type of story, but this is a rock and roll related book, and it's basically an imaginative
by Amanda Conner. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Combines an imaginative take on the oral history of the band interspersed with artistic interpretations of 10 songs from Blondie's catalog. Blondie's one of my favorite late 70s, early 80s bands. I've got a couple of the albums. Parallel Lines is, well, no pun intended, unparalleled. It's just, and it caught my attention, so it's going to be in my library of music related books.
Was it the first rap in a top 40 song? Rapture?
Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah. Yeah, because the Martians, they're going to come and eat your Subarus and your guitars too.
Eat your head.
Yeah, and then you're going to be dead. Or maybe they're going to be dead and then they're going to eat your head. I forget in what order.
I could have done that whole thing until we started talking about it. Now I can't remember any of it.
I'd have to start from the beginning. I can't jump in the middle. So the back of the book.
Now they only play guitar. Okay, 474 before we go to the back of the book. I'm undecided on these shirts. So this is something new. They have these woodcut shirts. So it's like a woodcut design on the front of the shirt. There's a couple of Black Panthers. There's a Captain America. There's a Captain Marvel, Iron Man, Spider-Man, and Wolverine. They look very different, but man, they are very stylized.
Yes.
So I'm really trying to decide if I like these or not. But if you want something that's very different, definitely something to think about picking up, because it's definitely not something that you'll see a lot of. So. All right, side 2, page 37 is my first thing.
That's my only thing. Go ahead.
Well, we're probably going to say the same thing.
the only thing I have is on 29, and that's the Game of Thrones Mother of Dragons levitating statue. I rarely have anything in the back of the book to talk about, but and talk is all I'm going to do because I'm not paying $225 for it. So it's PVC. It's basically Daenerys sort of in her prime, walking with one of the dragons hovering over her, and you've got the smoke billowing up from a fire where she's basically shown that she's impervious to all of that, and kind of cool. Again, is it $225 cool? Probably not for me. Not. Maybe somebody.
How does it levitate?
It's magnets.
Yes.
All right, go ahead, 37.
37, we have some reaction figures of the Universal Monsters. This is Wave 5. They're in their costume colors, which are the bright neons. And you get you get a creature from the Black Lagoon, you get a Frankenstein, you got the Mummy, and you got the Wolfman.
Page 41, you have Universal Monsters Creature from the Black Lagoon 6-inch glow-in-the-dark figure.
Nice.
This has actually been previously solicited, but that's all right. And then my last thing is on 101.
Okay.
You got anything before then?
I got nothing.
Oh, okay. So 101, you have some Star Wars Windows decals, and they finally are putting out just the Mandalorian helmet, which I think is kind of cool. And then the Mudhorn Signet as just a separate sticker. So I know a lot of people like to put these on their computer cases, on their hydro flasks, laptop, back of the laptops. So, yeah, you can grab it for that. All right. What's everybody looking forward to out of this catalog?
Can I give two things I'm looking forward to make up for a lack of an investment? No, I got
as many as you're looking forward to as you want.
But you didn't hear what the rest of I was going to say is I don't have an investment pick.
That's just
don't.
Hey, so that's okay. One less book I have to buy.
That's right.
Okay. I mean, I've tried. I don't stay up on what's possibly going to be turned into a Netflix series or what's maybe going to be. So I don't always stay up on those things. And I'm sorry, I might be jumping ahead. Do you want me to go?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Just the two things I'm looking forward to is it's the Love Everlasting. That's the Tom King, only because even if I only get one issue, I'm looking forward to that quite a bit. And I'm also looking forward to Dark Crisis #3, only because I'm just a diehard fanboy that likes the events, especially DC events, and I'm intrigued enough to be teased by Josh Williamson talking about maybe going back to the original multiverse.
Shad, what about you? What are you looking forward to?
I think the two things that I'm looking forward to for sure are the Star Wars Hyperspace Stories #1 out of Dark Horse, and then though I don't like the name super well, but the Samurai Doggy #1. Even if it's just Samurai Dog, I don't know.
Well, I mean, I guess the thing I'm most looking forward to is going to be that second Dune graphic novel. It's not. I think it's more reflection on how I'm not really looking like super forward to anything else. I mean, obviously I'm still reading. I need to read the first few issues of Punisher to find out if I'm looking forward to that or not. Same way with the current Captain America series. So I'm just gonna go with the Dune book. I know, Mike, you said you didn't have an investment pick. Shad, you got any investment picks?
Yeah, I think the Dead Lucky #1 out of Image, anything that's going to be introducing that into that massive verse as a first appearance, who knows what they could potentially do.
I was thinking about that one as well, but they introduced that character in that one shot.
He wasn't in Supermassive.
Oh, was not in Supermassive. Okay,
no.
All right. Yeah, I actually had a note to ask if he was already in Supermassive or not.
No,
I forgot to ask it.
Rogue Sun was introduced in Supermassive, and the Red Girl Red Inferno or whatever were introduced, but this one's completely new. I'm pretty caught up on everything else. So I believe that this would be the first appearance of Dead Lucky.
Okay, then that is probably a pretty good pick. I'm gonna go with, and these are long shots. I'm going with the Edge of the Spider-Verse, those first three, because you just get, if one of these characters pops up into one of the End of the Spider-Verse movies and becomes popular, like, what was it, May Parker or even Spider-Ham, all his book saw a big uptick because of how well he was portrayed in that movie. Spider-Rex or whatever could definitely be a winner at some point in the future. So I'll probably be grabbing a few copies of each of those first three Spider-Verse. I'll probably just going to get the entire series because they'll probably put a new one in every single issue. All right. Well, Shad, what are we going to talk about next episode?
Next episode, we are going to talk about Rorschach, issues 7 through 12, as well as our first impressions of Miss Marvel, which comes out, will already be out by the time this drops. Yeah. The first episode will. And then we're going to do a little CLZ shake and maybe talk about the DC speculations of their future.
Yeah. All right, good deal. So, Mike, if somebody wanted to reach out to you, where would they do that at?
Right now, it's m.atchison90@gmail.com, but I'm toying with the idea of going ahead and come up with an email address just for our podcast, and kind of generic, just make it more generic and not just the m.atchison. So something you guys and I should talk about.
Campus Comics Complaint Department.
There you go.
Yeah.
At gmail.com. All right, Shad, what about you?
You can find me on Facebook at Shad Schubert. That's SHAAD SCHUBERT. And check out the Can't Get Rights, my band, for any upcoming shows.
And Scott Reed, you can find me at burgcomics.com, BURG Comics. I've got Superman Celebration. I'll be set up at the Metropolis SuperCon this Friday and Saturday. So if you happen to be in the Metropolis, Illinois area, come say hi. And then, of course, July 23rd, you can see me at the Muddy Monster Comic Con, along with Catherine Sutherland and Nakia Baris, a couple of Power Rangers, pink and yellow Power Rangers. And then I'll have my own show in Harrisburg, Illinois, September 3rd. And that's going to do it for another episode. We'll see you in episode 132.
Can and will be used against you. Perfect. Just as an FYI. That's never happened to me. I don't know. Have you ever listened to one to prove whether or not it has or has not? I have. Oh, okay. What you mean? I can confirm. Oh, goodness. My life is a blooper reel. I can't even say blooper reel without having a blooper. A bleeper reel, I started saying.